Hello, friends. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving break, ate too much turkey, slept in too much, all of that. I also hope you're excited to study with students this upcoming week. I want to do a couple of things in this video with you. One is begin our study of sections 137 and 138. Two is point out something that we can do to help our students not just learn, but actually experience and practice the truths in these sections. And then three is prepare us for a couple of unique upcoming training experiences that we will have in December and January. First, section 137 and 138 both deal with the difficult topic of death and the afterlife. A couple of years ago, I researched Joseph Smith's funeral sermons and his messages about death and the afterlife. And as part of that, I read this account from his mother, her description of the passing of her oldest son, Alvin. She wrote, "Thus was our happiness blasted in a moment when we least expected the blow. It came upon us. The poison shaft entered our very hearts and core and diffused its deadly effects throughout our veins. We were at a time almost swallowed up in grief, so much so that it seemed impossible for us to interest ourselves at all about the concerns of life. The feeling of every heart was to make speedy preparations to follow him who had been too much the idol of our hearts. And then if it pleased God to take us, we would receive the call as a favor at his hands from whom it came." Of course, one of the beautiful truths revealed in section 137 is that those that have passed without a full knowledge or full opportunity to receive the gospel, like Alvin, would have that chance. So there's a beautiful study to be had there with students. Section 138, President Joseph F. Smith, Joseph's nephew, Hiram's son, was likewise dealing with death in his family. Just a few years before this, his wife passed away, and that same year they had a daughter that passed away. And then in 2018 or in 1918, the year that this revelation was received, his son Hiram passed away, and then Hiram's wife passed away. They left behind 5 children. And all of this on the heels of World War I and a flu epidemic where millions upon millions of people had died. President Smith wrote about the passing of his son Hiram. "My soul is rent asunder. My heart is broken and flutters for life. Oh, my sweet son, my joy, my hope. Oh, God, help me." Now, we've talked a lot about relevance to students. These sections can be incredibly relevant if students have ever experienced passing of family members. But even if they haven't, they know what it feels like to have tragedy hit their lives that make them feel these kind of emotions. And maybe allowing them some time at the beginning to think through those and connect in that way to what's happening would be a great way to help them sense the relevance. And then as they study sections 137 and 138, the messages of uplifting hope and comfort and truth could be really powerful to them. One of the studies I love is in section 138 to help students see not just what was revealed, but how it came, how it was revealed. Can they put themselves in the shoes of Joseph F. Smith and learn how a prophet receives revelation, and then take those truths and apply them to their own lives so that they can receive revelation? Now, of course, we could have some great discussions about that in class and teach them those principles. But as we've been working on in our current training this month, it's not enough for students just to read the scriptures. They have to experience them. If they're ever going to learn these truths deeply, they have to act, and hopefully act while they're with us so that they can begin that learning process. So one invitation, one way that students can activate the truths in this section, President Smith's revelation comes as he was pondering the scriptures. Of course, he's reading them daily, but he takes this moment to point out that he was pondering and reflecting on the scriptures. In order to help our students not just learn, but experience the principle of revelation, we need to help them develop a habit of meaningful daily scripture study. Now, of course, this is also a requirement for earning credit in seminary. They have to read 75% of the calendar days in the book of scripture that we're studying. How much they read is completely up to them. Any amount of reading counts for the day. But far beyond just meeting a credit requirement, we want to help them daily have a chance to receive revelation, and the Lord speaks to us through scripture. And so 3 invitations I have for us to help our students develop this habit. Number 1, if you haven't already, will you please help each individual student set a meaningful daily scripture reading goal? Now, this can be a quantity goal, a number of verses or time that they want to read, but it could also be a quality goal. What's something they want to do each day to help their personal study be more than just a reading? What are they going to do to ponder and reflect on what they read so that the Lord can speak to them? 2, will you please follow up with them regularly and consistently on their reading? A weekly reminder or weekly check-in is not too much. In fact, it might be too little. Giving students chances to talk about what they're reading, what their experiences are. If they're not meeting those reading expectations, to give them chances to adjust. Maybe you work with them to refine their goal a bit, or to find a different way to motivate them to reach that goal. And then the third thing, will you please train them to mark their reading daily using either the Seminary and Institute app or the My Seminary website. I say train because that's more than just telling them to do it. I looked at our credit statistics recently. Most of our students are meeting the attendance requirement of 75% attendance. However, a vast majority of our students are not meeting the reading requirement, and it's probably just because they're not marking it regularly. I know that's a frustration to you as well. And so the invitation is, don't just invite them to do it or tell them to do it, train them to do it in class. Have them pull up the Seminary and Institute app, look at their phone with them, show them how to check the box that says mark current reading, show them how to click on past reading and mark those days. Or go to the website on your computer and show them what it looks like. Now, when you log in, you'll see something different than they will. So maybe you ask a student to log in so that they can see, other students can see what they're looking at. Train them to do it. Follow up on their goals regularly and help them set those goals in the first place would be a great way to help them develop the habit of personal daily scripture study. Now, the third thing I want to cram into this video is we have a couple of great upcoming activities, training activities. First, in December, we're going to talk about assessments, learning assessments and teaching assessments. To get ready for that, the practice this week is an assessment for us as teachers. And it's maybe a scary one. It's the invitation to you, the challenge to you to record your own class. If you're on Zoom, just click the record button. If you're in an in-person class, set up a phone or a computer and record class. And then watch that recording yourself and view your seminary class from your students' perspective. Ask yourself what they're experiencing that you like, and maybe what adjustments you might want to make to help them have an even better experience. I would also love to be able to see that recording, to be in your class with you. And so I would love it if you would share the recording with me. I've made it as easy as possible. On our training page this week, if you click this button right here, it'll take you to a shared drive, and all you have to do is click upload file, and it will bring up a file, a place for you to search for the recording file on your computer and upload it. If you've already done it, thank you very much for doing it. If you don't want to record a class, but you would still be willing to let me come and visit, let me know. I would love to drive and visit your seminary class whenever it meets. And so if that's something that would be helpful to you, I would love to make the trip and the visit. I would like to be in everyone's seminary class this year if I can make it. In January, we will have an in-person chance to meet together, to begin our study of the Old Testament, to fire ourselves up for the upcoming year. So please mark your calendars for January 8th. The flyer will be attached in this announcement. It'll be from 8 o'clock until 1 o'clock. We'll have lunch. It'll be at the Valley Forge Stake Center, and more details will be coming. But please mark your calendars for January 8th. I'm really excited to see you there. Brothers and sisters, thank you for all that you do. Thanks for all that you will do as you work with students to help them develop a habit of personal daily scripture study, and as you study these wonderful sections with them this week. God bless you, and we'll see you next week.